Think of a CEO. They don't handle the daily groundwork, but they send out the critical directives that make every other department function. The human body uses this same hierarchy. The biological equivalent of that leader is a tiny pea-sized organ called the pituitary gland. Known as the master gland, it controls multiple hormone-secreting glands across the body. You'll find it at the base of the brain, positioned directly below the hypothalamus, sitting within a specialized indent in the sphenoid bone called the sella turcica. Its protected location and vast signaling network allow it to serve as the primary command center for the entire endocrine system. Structurally, the gland operates through two distinct departments, the anterior lobe in the front and the posterior lobe in the back. The anterior lobe serves as a manufacturing hub, synthesizing and releasing its own messengers, called trophic hormones. One of its most well-known outputs is growth hormone. If the lobe secretes too much GH, it leads to gigantism. Too little, and it results in pituitary dwarfism. It also produces TSH to stimulate the thyroid, and ACTH, which signals the adrenal glands to produce stress response hormones like cortisol. Finally, it releases gonadotropins, FSH and LH, to regulate the development and function of the reproductive system. This makes the anterior lobe a direct manufacturing plant, issuing the specific directives that keep the body's growth and metabolism in balance. The posterior lobe functions very differently. It doesn't actually produce its own hormones. Instead, it acts as a storage and release station. The hormones released here are actually synthesized in the hypothalamus. They travel down the pituitary stalk and wait in the posterior lobe until they are needed by the body. These stored hormones include oxytocin, which triggers contractions during childbirth, and ADH, also called vasopressin, which manages water balance in the kidneys. Consider how these differ. Trace the path. Which hormone targets the thyroid and which targets the kidney? The thyroid responds to TSH, manufactured in the anterior lobe. The kidneys respond to ADH, which is released from the posterior lobe. Distinguishing between the manufacturing power of the front lobe and the storage role of the back lobe is the key to understanding pituitary physiology. This hierarchy creates a clear sequence. The hypothalamus provides direction. The pituitary lobes process or store those signals, and the bloodstream carries the final orders to the target organs. This table compiles the entire network, from the gland's position in the sella turcica to the specific hormones released by each lobe. You can use this as a reference to keep these relationships clear during your study. When you view the endocrine system through this lens, the complex list of hormones becomes a logical map of a highly efficient command center.